It is the Greek Podcast. Of course, you know where we're at. We're at New York Prime. Stop by here any day for a great meal and a great steak. Always sponsored by Brayman Motor Cars, West Palm Beach and Jupiter. Your next new car experience should be there. They'll take care of you. Joining me today is one of my good friends who joins me on 940 Wins. He is a golf aficionado. He works for a Honda Classic. He is a Patriot fan. Sean, good afternoon, buddy.
Good afternoon, Greek. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, all the time. Making a steak, hang out. I'm glad you can
Nothing
stop
better, a little
by.
Louis Trey.
Yeah, Louis Trey. This is
Big time.
Big time, big time. You know the Greek. We're going to ask you right away because you are a Patriot fan. A, were you for Antonio Brown? B, do you think he'll play? And C, do you think it's going to work out?
I am on the fence on that one. I'm a little hesitant. I have a lot of emotions, I would say. I'm excited, I'm scared, everything in between.
Now, you were 50-50 about getting him, especially
Yeah.
after the first game.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've got some good weapons, and I think they're pretty loaded as it is, so it's a little overkill. Obviously, as your fan, you know, as a team, you like that.
Yeah.
You know, the more the merrier, especially with Brady getting older, even though he hasn't shown signs of it.
Yeah.
But the juice has to be worth the squeeze, and there's a lot of squeeze going on.
Now, who do you think makes that call? Is it Belichick? Is it Kraft? They said they asked Brady. Brady said he's 100% in because Antonio Brown is not your typical Patriot way guy.
No.
At all.
I would say it starts with Belichick.
Yeah.
But to get back to what you were saying at the end there, they've had Randy Moss, they've had Corey Dillon, they've had some guys. Albert Hainsworth, the guy they tried didn't work. Some kind of bad dudes on the outside looking in.
They had Cinco.
And yep.
Ocho
Cinco.
Yeah, that didn't
some
work.
guys that were problems, but this guy is probably the most biggest wild card. This guy is just absolute craziness.
Now, he also doesn't like to be in the regimen of doing things. He likes to freelance. A lot of people say Antonio Brown, that's what he likes to do. And they said one thing with Ocho Cinco, that's what he did. He didn't follow the routes, and Brady's a route guy, like 8 yards, which you know, I'm throwing the rock. You better be there. How do you think that is? And also with Gordon, who I love. I think he's a great receiver. I root for him to make it. Everybody's got their ups and downs in life. We all do. I'm hoping he makes it. Do you think that's going to clash?
I think it'll ultimately work out, to be honest, because I don't think there's no one who's ever broke the mold as far as what they call the Patriot way. Anyone who's had a slip doesn't go, one step in the right direction. Usually they cut bait pretty quick. A guy like Jamie Collins who went to the Cleveland Browns because super talented, but basically would kind of miss some meetings and wouldn't do things on the field like he was supposed to. They didn't care how good he was. They shipped him out for a third-round pick. So I think same thing.
Now, didn't he just come back?
He came back, which was it was interesting. He got paid big money by the Browns, and then after they cut him, he came back to the Patriots.
So he's on the Patriots this year?
He is, and he's looking great in preseason.
What position does he play?
He's outside linebacker.
Wow.
Kind of
and
a
now,
hybrid.
again, they had Jones, a great defensive end, that shipped him to Arizona. He was a beast. Seymour years ago. So they don't play. I mean, if you're not in the down, and then again, you want more money. Now, obviously, Antonio Brown has a civil case where he's alleged the situation with his trainer of the possibility of a rape. The NFL says they're going to look into it. She's going to see the NFL. Do you think he ends up getting suspended?
I don't think so if he hasn't gotten suspended yet.
But they just found out about this.
Yes, I know, and it's a little different. I think it's a civil trial. It's still, they're trying to gather some evidence until I think they have some cold, clean things maybe under oath. I don't think they're going to do anything.
Now, he's got the super agent, Drew, which we do. I saw him on ESPN. He calls me up. He comes out. I'm a family man. I'm married. Antonio's got five kids.
He's got 5 kids.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with it? I mean, there's nothing to do with it. We don't care about Drew. You're not questioning your integrity, who you are. And I understand what he was saying. And then Antonio Brown with the video. Now, do you think he orchestrated that thing with the Raiders, where there's speculation where they say maybe he had an expert come in and help him?
Yeah, I do think there's some smoke to that fire, and I will say this as a Patriot fan, and hopefully I don't get smoked by the rest of the guys that I grew up with, but I think there was definitely some collusion in there. The Patriots had definitely tampered in that situation.
Yeah, wow.
Part of it, if you...
This is a Patriot fan, by the way.
I admit it. Deflategate's a total nonsense, though.
Yeah.
I read the whole Wells report, 268 pages or something.
He did read the whole Wells report, 268 pages.
It's the worst. Just read it.
Most of the people watching this are
this is
listening to
actually, as a Patriot fan, the first incidents, whether it's all this other stuff that's happened where people have suspicion of cheating and things. This is the first time I kind of feel a little dirty.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty blatant.
Yeah.
Even though the guy has proved to be a little unstable, what guy walks away from $30 million guaranteed?
When he has, you got 15.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. I think he went out to Oakland with good intentions. I believe that. And I think once he got there with Carr and the team, he's used to winning. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers every year have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Did they get there? No. I think Antonio Brown, they were there twice with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got one ring when he was a rookie. I think when he got there, he might have been like, we don't have a shot.
Yeah, I think even more if you take away this situation, I think it's bigger collectively in sports than just this situation. You look at the NBA, and now it's almost become a league where the players dictate where they go. You know, look at Anthony Davis, the guy basically everyone knew he wanted to go to the Lakers. He's got an agent, Rich Paul, who's LeBron's guy.
Oh, yeah, that was forget it.
All that is basically orchestrated too. NBA, it's been going on for a while. I think this, which is good or bad depending on your opinion, this is going down that wave. The NFL, basically a guy that had a deal in place, didn't want to be there, and shot his way out of town, and they ultimately gave him his wishes.
Well, again, because I think it's assets and liabilities. He becomes such a problem. I mean, Gruden, I do respect at the end. He goes, man, I can't take it.
Yeah.
It was like a sledgehammer hit me in the head every single day. Where do I go? Where do I go? He comes out. I think when he released the phone call with Gruden, that was a big problem. So, a lot of issues with him.
I think the bigger debate would turn into what's going to stop the next guy when he doesn't want to be on a team.
Yeah.
You know, Antonio Brown's kind of set this precedent. If you became the bigger pain in the butt,
you get
left alone.
Well, again, he's got that level where he's a super extreme athlete at his position. 7 years, over 100 cases. They're betting that. He's never going to catch that with the Patriots because the first thing is Brady doesn't throw to one guy, which you know. I mean, if he plays the whole year and he catches 60, I'll be surprised. But it's very unique with this situation. And then again, it seems like you're done and then another bombshell.
Right.
Like one thing's happened and then he released the phone call. Then I want to be a Raider. And then this happens. Then he gets traded. Then this allegation. So it's not good for him. I mean, for him, the best thing could be is to play.
Right.
Because I think if he plays and they play again Sunday and down here in Miami laying 19, probably 23 by the game, and he says he catches 2 touchdowns and scores, catches 11 passes, 8 passes. They may be, all right, it's worth it. But I still think the NFL is going to shoot in when this woman's going to see it. So we'll see what happens. This is a great podcast. Sean's my special guest today. You'll hear him on 940 Wins on Monday. He's my golf aficionado. Odell, another receiver. And you wonder why receivers say they are drama? Because they are.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on Odell with the whole watch thing? I got to wear this watch. The Browns lose by 30. You would think he'd be focused on that.
Yeah.
But, he says, hey, I want
to
wear my...
It's almost the wide receiver drama has turned into a can you top that? We were joking around this week. Remember Terrell Owens doing sit-ups in his driveway.
Yeah,
people
with
thought
Philly.
that was a circus. And now look at the kind of stuff that Antonio Brown and Odell have brought to the field and off it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's times 10.
Oh, yeah.
The guy wearing reports where it was $350,000 watch. Now I guess they brought it to it's 190. Not as much, but still pretty big.
Sure.
And he's adamant he's going to wear it too.
Yeah.
He found exception to the fact that they were kind of giving him a hard time about that.
Well, he said he feels he's being picked on. The last guy who wore a watch was Roby, a punter for the Dolphins years ago. He wore one, but I think he wore like a little rubber watch. It was probably $8.
Right.
Now he's saying it's because of the watch. It's not because of the watch. The value adds to the story.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had a watch on $35, you're wearing a watch $200,000. He caught 7 passes, 71 yards. The Browns were so hyped up. I mean, I talked to my buddy in FanDuel. I talked about on Real Radio. I talked to guys in Vegas, and they were saying like everybody, Browns, Super Bowl, and it's 1 week. But do you think this team can mesh and be a contender?
I think they can, but I think they're in a pretty bad, off to a bad start.
They're lucky you got the Jets this week.
And the Jets, we can talk about them. I mean, they're basically decimated.
Yeah.
They've got Sam Darnold, who
has mono.
Mono, of all things.
How do you get mono?
Yeah. That's like what you get in high school for making out on the couch. So
junior high.
Yeah, exactly. So that, C.J. Mosley's going to miss a lot of time.
He's groin.
And then you just heard today, what's his name, that Le'Veon Bell, he's going to have to get an MRI for his shoulder. So what was once a promising year is already taking pretty ugly effects to them. But for the Browns to get them, I think that's a big confidence booster. Their talent's undeniable.
Yeah.
And that's on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, people are forgetting
the
about
offense
the defense.
gets more credit.
The offense is flashy.
Yeah,
And everyone, that's the way it is.
You got Landry, Odell. You got Baker Mayfield. He's doing a commercial every 8 seconds.
Right.
Every time you turn around, he's on the air.
And honestly, I think right or wrong, it's going to come down to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Those other guys are going to be there. Chubb was still pretty good in that game.
Yeah.
They just, when you're down, you can't run the ball anymore.
He had a bad game, Baker Mayfield. I mean, one thing that bothers me with him is last year his percentage of passes, completions was better outside the pocket than inside the pocket. I don't think, which a lot of teams don't want. They don't want these guys crowling.
Right.
They want to crowl him a little in the pocket. In the pocket, he's not there good. He got picked off a couple times.
Yeah.
Not good. Tennessee they're a good team.
Yeah.
They got a good defense.
Yeah,
Beat them by 30.
People forget the Tennessee Titans were up there in the playoffs last year and a good team. And Mike Vrabel off the Patriots playing and coaching tree always has done a nice job there. And so it's interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, again, going in week 1, there was some surprises. Chiefs look good. I'd be surprised if it's not the Chiefs and the Patriots again in the championship game.
Yeah.
And maybe it's up in New England this year. Maybe that's the only difference, or it could be in Kansas City.
I think that was one of the funniest things about the past week is the Patriots getting AB and then blowing out their game. People start talking about them as undefeated and world beaters. And
they have that Vegas now, 19-0.
Yeah, but I mean, KC Chiefs looked like they were going to be a train wreck out there. I mean, Pat Mahomes looks great. Like he didn't miss a beat.
No.
Sammy Watkins, who's probably their 4th option there, was the guy that stepped up and had a monster game. So,
well, he had a great game. I think the things what people looked at is who they beat. They beat the Jaguars, but Foles goes down in the second quarter. Pittsburgh's a good team. People are picking Pittsburgh to possibly win the division. Maybe their defense is good. They sliced them up. Patriots could have scored 40. And then again, in their last 8 quarters with the Patriots, and you notice, and this is why people are hyped on them, to get no credit, their defense shuts down the Rams to 3, 3 points, and then the Steelers with 3. I mean, so 8 quarters of 6 points against good teams, that's huge.
Yeah, probably about 4 years ago, the Patriots were an old, slow defense, and they've over time done it pretty quietly. They're young and fast.
Oh, yeah, they definitely picked up Bennett.
And Hightower looked great.
He's a beast.
He was hurt last year, and you could tell kind of hobbled around. But
the other linebacker didn't even play, correct? He was having
Kyle Van Noy. He was on paternity.
Yeah, so he wasn't even there, and he's one of their aces. He had a great Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing.
They got him, yeah.
Again, there's a lot of things in the NFL that change. Eli plays. They go down to Dallas. That situation, what happens? Obviously, they get their money, and that's what Zeke gets his money. Dak's on hold. So there was a lot of storylines in the NFL first week.
Yeah, I think if you're an NFL fan, you got to love it.
Yeah.
There's so many between... There's still some teams that can emerge. It's still week 1.
Oh, yeah, it's 4 quarters.
Let it settle.
You got September, October, November.
Right.
I mean, if you're a team, it's 4 games at a clip. You want to go 3-1, 2-2. You can't go 1-3. You can't go 0-4 to stay in the pack. It is the Greek Podcast. Sean's my special guest. We're at New York Prime. Of course, we're at that is. We're always there. And your next new car, Brayman Motor Cars, West Palm Beach and Jupiter. Great experience. You'll love it. Get a Mini. They're awesome. BMW. They're great. Brayman Motor Cars. That's where you go. We're going to take a quick break. Order some food. We'll be back in the Greek Podcast in a couple minutes. Peace.
Come experience Brayman Mini. From fun, cool Mini Coopers to Club Brayman events, from the racetrack to parties at our theater. Join the fun at Brayman Mini.
Whether you own a Mini or not, you gotta check out BraymanSummerofMini.com.
I'm Catherine, and this is my Mini. The S version is stylish and super speedy. The sound system is great. It's my 3rd Mini Cooper from Brayman, so you know it's a good car.
Whether you own a Mini or not, you gotta check out BraymanSummerofMini.com.
It is the Greek Podcast. The NFL is back. We know that. So else is Greek's Gridiron. Don't forget that in our 18th season. Tomorrow, which is Friday, not knowing when you're going to see this, we'll be at Casa de Monte Cristo and Prime Cigar. Monroe's the following weeks. Johnny Longboats. So happy we're doing this for 18 years. Stop by. Also listen to Real Radio. You got Rover, Penthouse, Johnny C. and Francis. The other guy, not so much. And then the Love Doctors. We are the home of the Gators and the NFL. Big, big day. New York Prime, always here, and sponsored by Brayman Motor Cars, West Palm Beach, and Jupiter. Sean's nice enough to stop by. Joins me on Monday on 940 Wins. That's the Greek Zone. Hope you're following. Everything's Greek. He is a fantasy player. I do not play my fantasies. I pay for them. What's the big thing with fantasy football? It gets bigger and bigger every year. FanDuel, DraftKings. I know you play, but what is that big thing where people is it just competing, the trading, competition? What do you see at LS?
Yeah,
you've been doing it for
I think
years.
it's a combination of a lot of things. For instance, it could be anything from we have an office fantasy football league, so it's good for that work camaraderie and morale, and to meet maybe with a coworker like we did teams of someone who's done it for years versus somebody who hasn't. So they're kind of you're better in a rookie.
It evens out.
So
this is at the Honda Classic.
At the Honda office. So it's kind of fun to have someone who doesn't really play get excited about it and ask you, how'd we do, or hey, should we move this? But it's fun. On the other ends, it's kind of always been the underbelly of maybe the safe sports gambling part.
Sure.
You throw money in for a league and. The
Hopefully
1, 2, and 3 win and things like that.
And it keeps it going.
And it keeps it going. And then there's camaraderie to it. Guys love it. The banter, BSing like we do about sports. You're doing that all year long.
I had a mistake a couple years ago. I got involved with a fantasy football team. I didn't play. Johnny C., my boy, played, and I put up the money. And I was on this thread the first couple weeks. And I was like, get me off this thread. Because people are shooting in, doing this. Your guy's a dog. What's the name's rocking you? And I'm like, get me off this thread.
Yeah, we just had that talk the other night because I'm in a league that's been going on for almost 20 years.
Wow.
A lot of Cleveland guys. And there's some guys that have some serious jobs now. They woke up overnight and, they're doctors, or there's some guys that, and the text thread is blowing up. And you have guys like, hey, can you just keep it to the rules?
Keep it down.
I can't take the witty banter back and forth when I'm trying to work.
Yeah, there's definitely no doubt about it. But I think with fantasy football, you get a lot of women are involved. A lot of guys get involved. Who do you have in fantasy? You hear it. It became so part of our society that now the games, they break on side. Right. Same thing with gambling. I mean, you never saw the lines years ago. Now you see, like ESPN today, Tampa Bay's playing Carolina -7, -44. You never saw that. Fantasy, they get on the side now. Their points, who they pick. Who were a couple of your first picks?
So I took David Johnson in all 3 of my leagues. Kind of
for Arizona.
Yeah.
No wonder you were rooting for him last Sunday.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
When I had Detroit. He's going, David Johnson's a beast.
I had my own devices.
I'm like, what?
Just a guy that 2 years ago, he was the #1 pick in all the drafts. The team was pretty poor last year, and it wasn't really his fault.
He had a broken wrist.
Coming back off the injury, too. But just a guy I thought would rebound. Had a good first game, caught a big pass. So we'll see. I kind of was more excited. I took some rookies in some of my drafts. The biggest one was probably a reach to start, but the tight end for the Lions.
And he did great.
And he's great. I mean, I just kind of took a chance knowing
How many points did he bring you?
He was probably 23 points.
Now, what is a good day for a fantasy player to bring in?
You'd like to see on average, if your team's humming, you want to see everyone over 10 points minimum. So I'd say a solid day, 15 points, and then
so if somebody's in the 20s, 30s, that's used.
20 or 30s, if you're not a quarterback, is huge.
So what's a big day for a quarterback?
Quarterback's like 45.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
quarterback on average is probably going to get about 20, and anything over that is starting to creep up.
So Mahomes, if you get him, he's rocking and rolling.
Yeah, he's a 45-pointer. Like, that's a lot of guys that won their league last year riding Pat Mahomes, got him in a late round and busting up 45, 50 points a game.
Now, last week, the quarterback for the Ravens must have did good.
Yep, huge.
I mean, he must have crushed it. He threw 3 touchdowns the first time I got a hot dog.
Yeah, really.
59-10.
Yep.
Now, what do you think of the Dolphins? Are they tanking? Are they done? The Super Bowl's here in Miami. Everybody's excited about it. What do you think of them? Do you think some players said, hey, I want to be out after that? Speculations, agents. Like, they're playing your Patriots this week. Laying 20 Patriots on the home. Probably the highest line in NFL history on the road.
Yep.
Forever. I can't even imagine somebody laying 20. Are the Patriots that good and the Dolphins that bad? I mean, could you see another 59-10? Or do you think Belichick doesn't run it up?
I don't think it's that he won't run it up. I think that we overreact week to week.
Yeah.
So are the Dolphins pretty much rebuilding and kind of setting that tone? Yes, but they're still professional athletes. These guys are still the best picks out of all college. So if I'm betting the game Sunday, I'd be taking the Dolphins and the points.
Really?
Yeah, I see the Pats winning like 17 points, 2 touchdowns or something
really?
like that. But I would take the points.
Yeah, wow.
These guys are still pros. I mean, these guys.
But they just got beat by 49. The Ravens.
But if you look at the bounce back ratio of week to week in a lot of these leagues, a team that gets really thundered the week before usually steps it up. There's a sense of pride. That's where I said, not just are these guys still talented, they're all drafted in the NFL, but these guys are one of the biggest egos, pride in the nation at one point.
Yeah.
They're proud in that locker room. They're going to try to fight back. So
definitely
20 points is a lot.
And it might go up.
NFL spread.
It might go up. Now, if the Patriots blow them out, forget third week. I mean, because people are just going to be circling the Dolphins like whatever. They got props up in Vegas. Will the Dolphins go 0-16? Right. And people are banging them. I mean, they just look so bad. And it's the way they lost. Again, you lose 24-10, it's one thing. You get bit 59-10. The Dolphins front office, I said, is great. They call me all the time for tickets. They're always on me. They called me this week. They said, we'll pay you to come to the games.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just crazy.
It's tough, but I think you do have to have patience in a situation like this. I think that you really, as a coach and a GM in that conglomerate, you can't get really your people and your strategies in there until year 3 probably.
Yeah.
So as painful as it is, I would be more optimistic as a Dolphin fan that at least they're going to arsenal themselves with picks. They're going to truly try to rebuild.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing worse than being a fan that you're stuck in mediocrity.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the Celtics of the 90s. You get, you know, you qualify for the playoffs, but you're the AC.
That's right, the Heat are.
And then, and like the Heat are now. We'll see with Butler, but you know, no chance to really win the big one, but good enough to get the playoffs. I think true fans, and let's remember the shortened term for fans is fanatics.
Yeah.
You know, vehemently vibrant people for their team.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they want to win. They want to go to a Super Bowl.
They want that passion.
You know, if you're a Dolphin fan, you want to go back to the 72-73 team and start those days back. And there's a lot of pride in Miami. I think the ownership has been pretty tough, though.
Now, something that you're involved with, you work for the Honda Classic, and you're involved in golf, and one of the things that fuels the NFL, which they don't like to admit, but more and more it's coming full circle. Caesars is your one of the sponsors, sports betting. But you have told me that the PGA is embracing betting.
Yeah, they're slowly starting to. It's something for us. My role at the Honda Classic is bringing our partnerships and sponsors and basically our clients that help fund the tournament. And a lot of people don't know this about the Honda, but it's a 501c3 charity. So all of our profits go back to the community.
Oh, which is great.
Yeah. So, but in the past,
Bear Trap,
baby. Everyone loves it. That's what I get. My phone just starts texting like crazy in February. Yeah. So what I was going to say though was that when it comes to the sports gambling aspect, the tour has finally probably the second now to NBA. At least started the discussions. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's no different from me and you playing golf and betting $20.
Yeah. Well, again, and how can we do it? But they're taking a little slower. So this year, I'm allowed to use a casino in the name of on a partnership, which is great.
We can basically advertise a place that has gaming. We just can't actually do the gaming on site.
Well, again, it's a train that's running, and with golf, you know, we're going to go back in the NFL. Last week, the NFL did 2 games on Thursday night. And then the Sunday night game, 23 million people. Right. Dallas, 24 million or whatever it was. That's what brings the dollars, the TV revenue, and the ads. Why do people watch? They're fans, obviously, but I would say 7 or 8% of people have some bet. Yeah. Whether it's with a bookie, a casino, fantasy. That's what intrigues them. Right. You know, you hear the announcers more and more, well, that field goal didn't mean anything, but there's a lot of people that are happy. I mean, it happened last week. Clemson's playing Texas A&M, laying 17 at the end of the game, and A&M gets a meaningless touchdown. Right. It was 24-3. There's a lot of people like this watching that play. You know, I was one of them. I mean, because that touchdown.
It is amazing how the announcers do know all the lines in there, because they will, over the course of time, always say that, especially after a real punishing one.
Oh, yeah. Al Michaels was great at that 15 years ago. He'd be like, you know, there's a field goal and the game's over, but somebody's happy and somebody's mad. Yeah, now they embrace
Sean McDonough was great with that, too. A Boston guy. Shout out to Sean. He's been a great professional with the Sox for years, and then ESPN. But he used to always love that. And, and he would tell us he was a member of the golf club I was a pro at, and he used to tell us he used to revel in it. He knew like somebody had the line.
Of course!
And he would kind of dig it to him on the air and say, hey, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, if that field goal just went through, it might have cost you. Right. Yeah, the NFL has always been the smartest league. I've always said Goodell's office in New York, people drive up there with, you know, wheelbarrows full of cash. Yeah. I mean, they can't do no wrong. I mean, again, that's what it seems like. And they have a lot of off-the-field stuff. They got past some other stuff. They're moving to Vegas, which is huge. Yep. I thought that was one of the things that would save Antonio Brown, because they wanted a big star going to Vegas. Right. But I think they just like the hell with it. I got tons of my friends out there. They said the stadium is like going up in 2 seconds. It's going to be right by the strip. They're going to have a thing where you can walk over. Yep. I think you will be able to bet at some point at stadiums. Where you can just walk up and get a Coke and a hot dog and give me the Raiders or give me the Dolphins. I think that's inevitable for sports betting. But I think those are the things that really dictate. Like you said, you got your fans. It's like people who listen to real radio. You got your P1s. Yep. They're going to be there all the time. But you want the other things. That's the thing with golf. Golf can get bigger. Do you think Brooke is enough of a face for golf?
Brooks can be. I mean, I think he's branched out compared to the last few years. I mean,
he's in the ESPN,
body issue. Yeah. My girlfriend texted me the other day and said, like, did you see this? This is unreal. Do golfers do this? The answer is no. But, you know, that's kind of cool that he's trying something new and branching out.
He seems a little bit sometimes stuffy when you talk to him, but I think he'll be better. as time goes on.
Yeah, I think he'll adjust. We all adjust. I can't imagine what, if I was 20 something.
Oh yeah, the money. One of the golf shows that I love is the guy Federer.
David Faraday.
Faraday, he's great.
Yeah.
Awesome, I love his show.
Yeah.
Sean stopped by the Greek Podcast. We want to thank you all the time for listening to Real Radio. Appreciate and consuming this mess. 940 Wins. You can catch Sean on Mondays, always a staple. I'm the Greek, Real Radio, don't forget it. Monday to Friday, 10 to 2 with Johnny C. and Francis. Appreciate all you guys listening. Want to thank Brayman Motor Cars. Again, wouldn't be possible without them. West Palm Beach and Jupiter, your next new car experience should be there. You'll be happy. Minis, BMWs, and of course, New York Prime. The steak's so good, the cows want to come here. What does that tell you? Talk to you next week. Peace!
I'm Liv, and I live in my Mini. The Mini Cooper is the perfect car for me. The tech package is amazing. I wanted a car that's quick and cute.
Whether you own a Mini or not, you gotta check out BraymanSummerOfMini.com.
I'm Annie, and this is my Mini. My Mini's got Bluetooth, a great sound system, backup camera, everything I need. Sometimes I just stare at it. It's got a cool factor.
Whether you own a Mini or not, you gotta check out BraymanSummerOfMini.com.